The Pelicans are forced into an impossible decision as they continue on their winning streak. What's going on with the center position? Yes, Derek Queen has been playing well, and also we've seen an increase in minutes from some other players, but the Pelicans have a deep center roster. What are they going to do about it as we get into these games? We're going to talk about it inside this edition of Pelicans Digest. What's good with it, y'all? It's your people, Melz On The MIC, back once again inside Pelicans Digest. Just got back in from the city this weekend. Was at the game Saturday night against the Pacers. Shout out to my man Ahmad, and shout out to everybody that hollered at me while I was out there, and the vibes were immaculate all over the city this weekend, man. For real, for real. Saints won, Pels won, both on winning streaks. It's good vibes all across the city right now. But still a long way to go, especially for the Pelicans. And we're going to keep you updated on everything that's going on. So right now, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done it yet, and subscribe to the Pelicans Digest podcast, where you get the best analysis, opinions, and more about the New Orleans Pelicans right here. It's Melz talking about those Pels. And again, was at the game Saturday night. And listen, I ain't gonna front. I was having such a good time. I was up there in the 300 level by the Hennessy Lounge drinking them Pelicans punches. Look, go get your Pelicans punch next time you're up there at the game. Look, you're going to have some fun after that, after a couple of those. I had about 2-3 of them joints. I was like, woo, yeah, we having a good time Saturday night. Which made, for the most part on Saturday night, I ended up pretty much missing what was going on in the fourth quarter because we was just up there having a good time talking and laughing and joking around. And I just lost focus on the game after, the Bells took the lead and took off. But it was a great game, great bounce back game once again for Zion Williamson, who had a big night. And again, I got criticized for saying that Zion's probably best basketball ahead of him for right now, continues to be coming off the bench and being a six-man position and role player. I got criticized for that. I took it, but you see what's been happening. The team continues to win. It continues to do well with Zion in this current position. As a six-man. And I woke up this morning, saw all these articles and all this other stuff about six-man Zion. Is this what his future is going to look like? Remember, I was on that early first. I got criticized for that, saying I was crazy. But, again, this has been working out wonderfully for the Pels and their offense. Since December 1st, the Pelicans have had the sixth best offense in basketball. And over the last 2 weeks, they've been the number one offense in basketball. And this is due to the fact that Zion Williamson has been coming off the bench along with Jordan Poole. And James Borrego has gotten these guys to buy into this system working the way it's been working. So the vibes are awesome right now for the team right now as we get ready to try to play a fifth straight win and get a fifth straight win against a team that you already beat before, the Dallas Mavericks. They've already split the season with Dallas, and both of them have been close games. The first one was in overtime, I think, and I was at both of those games in Dallas. And we're going to get into that in a minute. First, want to make sure you get updated on what's going on with the squad as we get into the game tonight. First off, Herb Jones, who's been playing absolutely awesome and lights out over the last few games, especially starting with that Houston game where he locked down Kevin Durant, and it was more the same on Saturday night, but he left the game early with was believed to be a concussion or either a migraine. But it is reported that Jones will be in for the game tonight against the Mavericks. According to Pelicans.com, they just released this a little bit over an hour ago. They say Jones's migraine is available, who had dealt with a migraine, is available after getting struck in the head inadvertently by an Indiana player. And Jones had been listed as questionable on Sunday's injury report. And that's going to be good to see that we get Herb Jones back tonight. His minutes are going to be needed, especially when you consider the Dallas situation. Dallas might not be coming in with all of their guys, and that, according to their injury report, is being reported that Maverick star rookie Cooper Flagg, sharpshooter Klay Thompson, and guard Max Christie are all listed as questionable for the upcoming game. On the other hand, Max Christie, who has an illness, will most likely miss the matchup as he did not participate in shoot-around earlier today. So there you go. So I think tonight you could see a big game from Saadiq Bey. I think you can see a big game from Saadiq Bey tonight. In the first game against Dallas, he scored 22 points. And in the second game, he didn't get as much. He only scored 4 points. He struggled. And one of the reasons why I think he struggled was because they were still trying to figure out this whole Zion Williamson situation as far as getting him back in the starting lineup. This was before Zion went back down with another injury, the most latest injury. Zion in that game scored, he didn't start. In the first game, he didn't play because he was injured, but in the second game, he got to start and scored 22 points in 29 minutes. But let's take a look at before you say this is some sort of criticism of Zion, let me go ahead and tell you what's changed and why I think this could be a big night for not only Zion but also Saadiq Bey as well. Both of them are averaging. You've now gotten their averages. You gotten to figure out how you can work these two into the roster and the lineup at this point. Both of them in these games, in the most recent, especially during the winning streak, have averaged for Zion between 20 and 25 minutes a game. And for Saadiq, it's been about 25 to 30 minutes a game. So I think if you can continue to manage that, you can effectively get a good outcome in the game tonight. And I don't think it can be close if you can get a good outcome and a good mix of those two in their minutes. Also, like I said, if Cooper Flag may play, may not play, it's still being determined. I think he will play tonight, but this is the first night of a back-to-back. And you also know that the Pelicans are not that far off from this team as far as in the win column. They only got 11 wins. The Pelicans are now up to 7. So if you're Jason Kidd, you probably are going to start these guys and get as much play as you can. And that's why also Herb Jones' minutes is going to be needed tonight as well, because if you get Klay Thompson back, again, this Dallas team has been playing better over the last couple of weeks as well, just as much as the Pelicans. So I think if you rely on Bey and Zion tonight, it could be a big night for both of them. One topic I want to discuss in this episode right now real quick is, and I know you've been paying attention to it, is what's going on with the center position. As you know, Derek Queen has been playing phenomenal, and you probably have also seen, and especially in the last few games, an uptick in minutes for Karlo Matkovic. And this is something I said before about Karlo. As much as I don't like Queen playing the 5, the only way the offense seems to flow better is with Queen at the 5. And also in the backup role, that was where the question started to rise. Who's going to step up and be the backup role? We thought it was going to be Yves Missi, but so far over the last couple of games, it's been Karlo Matkovic. Because as you know, Karlo flows better offensively. And somebody else will say they believe he flows better defensively. I disagree with the defensive part a little bit. He tends to get in foul trouble pretty quickly. He tends to get in foul trouble pretty quickly. I'll just leave it at that. But that leaves some concern at least on my end, in what's going on with Yves Missi. I have some concern about what's going on with Yves Missi as a lead. Again, this is his second year, and he was all rookie last season. But we don't see more of him developing and getting better. And that's a concern of mine. And there's also starting to be a concern about a lot of people who are fans of Yves Missi and also this team. Since returning from an ankle injury on December 6th, Missi has not played more than 18 minutes in a game, including playing only mop-up duty in Saturday's win. In the previous 5 games before his injury, the Cameroon-born star center didn't play less than 20 minutes in any of these contests. And I'm kind of concerned about Yves because his minutes have been dropping off, and he's kind of sort of falling back down in the lineup. And, yeah, he did get a lot of mop-up and clean-up time in the game Saturday night. But in some of the games that we've been seeing him in, especially early on, he just doesn't seem to understand how to flow with the offense correctly yet. I think he's still a better rim protector than Karlo, but he just doesn't seem to understand how to get the offense rolling with him. He still doesn't seem to get how he needs to crash down. That's the thing about Karlo. Karlo will, if the guards are trying to lead the center into a pick and roll situation, Karlo automatically knows to go crash down towards the goal so he can get a rebound or a hoop. And Yves doesn't seem to get that, and he's never prepared for passes when they're given to him in the paint. And I'm wondering about his development because you got DeAndre Jordan there, you got Kevon Looney there. So what seems to be the issue with Missi? So far, the lineup featuring Queen, Fears, Herb, Jones, Saadiq Bey, and Trey Murphy has a plus 8.9 net rating over the last few games. Borrego has gone with Williamson and Karlo off the bench, leaving little to no minutes for Missi. Borrego is an offensive-minded coach, and Missi hasn't developed enough of that side of the court to warrant significant minutes currently. The Pelicans, which you don't have to worry about, exercised their 2026 team option on Missi, ensuring they have control over his contract over the next 2 seasons. So does that make him the odd man out? Especially when you're talking about, you keep throwing around all these trade scenarios and stuff like that. It's something that I will pay attention to over the next couple of weeks with Missi. But I don't think they're going to trade him this season or even put him on the table this season unless something spectacular comes through. But again, it is kind of concerning. It is kind of concerning because I think there's still a lot of raw talent there and there's still a lot of development. But my question is, what are we doing to develop him? What are we is this for a short-term situation as far as let him continue to develop and maybe he'll beast better later on in the season? That's what I hope will happen. But what are your thoughts, though? Do you think Missi could be the odd man out? Because, again, you got DeAndre Jordan on this contract, which is essentially a coaching contract. You got Looney on this deal, on this 2-year deal. I think he's got the option. We got the option on that for next season. Would you exercise that option to keep Looney around? But my question, I guess, is what's going on with Missi and what can we do to develop him so we can get him involved in these games and get him to be better involved? Because I think there's still a lot of promise there. It's just raw right now. But what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts as we get ready for the Mavs tonight. Will the Pelicans make it 5 straight? I think we can. I got a lot of hope in this one. I think it can be a good game and a good win with the Pelicans. But what are your thoughts on the center position right now with the Pelicans? Queen is doing phenomenal. But what do you think about Karlo stepping up into the backup role, as well as Missi, Looney, and Jordan? Clap back with your thoughts in the comments, and thank you so much for checking in with us here on Pelicans Digest. This is where you get the best analysis, opinion, and more about the New Orleans Pelicans right here. It's Melz talking about those Pels. I'll holler at you tomorrow.